as it relates to saving money on taxes, there's literally 6 big ways for you to save money on taxes, right? So the first one is deductions. Deductions is basically what people call a tax write-off. When people talk about writing off this and writing off that, that's what a tax write-off is. It's a deduction, right? And then you have deductions, you have retirement, so you can contribute to different retirement accounts that can help you save money on taxes. You have insurance. There's different insurance policies that are out there you can use to be able to save money on taxes. You have your legal and tax structure, so how you're structuring the business is going to help you save money on taxes. You have what are called loopholes, so there's legal loopholes that are out there to help you save money on taxes. Then you have advanced planning strategies. That's like taking like a holistic view, combining different entities, moving things around to really save you money on taxes.
Here's what I would ask. If somebody say, okay, I don't have a clue. This is the first year I started making some real money. Perfect. Hey, I signed up and started working with the mob, right? I'm making 5 figures, 6 figures, 7 figures. What are some things that people can start doing to get their finances in order to prepare for taxes?
Yeah, that's great. So the biggest thing is, one, making sure your books are in order, right? When I say books, I mean your accounting records. So as you mentioned, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of business owners, they're not keeping very good track of how much money they're making, how much money they're spending, right? So making sure that you have your accounting in order, that's going to be important from a tax perspective, because depending on how you're structured, you're going to need that, what's called an income statement. So you have your revenue is money that you bring in. You have your expenses that you spend out of the business, right? So having good track of that, doing that, so you can use software that's out there. Like QuickBooks is really popular to use. There's all these other platforms you could do your research on what's more popular or what you prefer. But QuickBooks is pretty much the industry standard, right? If you go ahead and get yourself set up on QuickBooks, you could go ahead and pass it off to pretty much any bookkeeper or tax or someone who does accounting, and they'll be able to manage that.
Would there be a major learning curve for someone that's like, okay, QuickBooks, once I sign up, is there a learning curve or some things that people should look for when they're setting this up? And how should they be keeping track of this? Their receipts? Is this them going on trips?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there is a learning curve with QuickBooks. So it does take time, because you have to do what's called a reconciliation, which is making sure it matches to the bank account, all these different things. And it's a software. The positive thing with QuickBooks is they do make it easy, because you can connect your bank accounts to it, and it feeds the information, and then it's up to you to go ahead and organize it yourself or hire someone to do it for you. The more simpler way, and this is another thing I include in the program, which is, again, I'm just giving it all away. Yeah. I have a business, a spreadsheet in there. So in the spreadsheet, you could literally, it's on Google Sheets or Excel or whatever the case is. You can go, literally have it broken down based on the categories that's on the tax return. So it's literally reverse engineer. So for, like, let's say you're a sole proprietorship, right? Which most people are going to be a sole proprietorship if you're just starting off. It's going to be categorized in the way that it is on the tax return, right? So you're going to have things like supplies, it's going to have equipment, it's going to have meals, it's going to have travel, it's going to have all those different things.
We've got to pause right there, because I'm in the giving mood. I decided to offer you a free gift, absolutely free. Now, I tell you all the time about turning your ideas into online income, but how am I going to tell you to do something and not provide the resource for it? There's so many questions that people have online about, what should I post? How do I get my engagement up? How do I get people to click the link in my bio, buy from me? What should I sell, whether it's an ebook, an online course? How much should I charge? How do I launch? How do I do a webinar? You see what I'm saying? So I decided to create a free training and give it to you that you can utilize to learn how to literally take the services that you do or the ideas you have and build a successful online company. Go to www.monetizewithmarcus.com. My gift to you. You're welcome.
So getting the accounting right is going to be important, right? Because to your point, if you're not tracking your expenses, that's a huge way for you to save money on taxes. So that's one piece. And then as it relates to saving money on taxes, there's literally 6 big ways for you to save money on taxes, right? So the first one is deductions. Deductions is basically what people call a tax write-off. When people talk about writing off this and writing off that, that's what a tax write-off is. It's a deduction, right? And then you have deductions, you have retirement, so you can contribute to different retirement accounts that can help you save money on taxes. You have insurance. There's different insurance policies that are out there you can use to be able to save money on taxes. You have your legal and tax structure, so how you're structuring the business is going to help you save money on taxes. You have what are called loopholes, so there's legal loopholes that are out there to help you save money on taxes. Then you have advanced planning strategies. That's like taking like a holistic view, combining different entities, moving things around to really save you money on taxes. But the biggest thing that's going to apply to most entrepreneurs is going to be those expenses, those tax write-offs, right? So as it relates to being able to write things off for your business, the IRS has 4 requirements in order for you to be able to do that, right? I call those tax-free requirements, right? So tax-free deductions. So free is going to be the acronym that you need to remember. So free, the first part of that free is it needs to be for your trade, business, or profession. So if you're an entrepreneur, business owner, then you're able to expense things that you spend money on the business. So that's one of the amazing advantages, and that's one of the things I got from Robert Kiyosaki's book is the tax code is geared towards entrepreneurs and investors, right? Investors in real estate, investors in the stock market, because those individuals in the government's eyes, whether you agree with it or not, they're the ones that are helping build up the economy, right? They're circulating money, they're providing goods, they're providing services. So the government wants more people to do that. So you need to be and you need to have a business. Then the next part of that is R. It needs to be considered regular for your business, right? The IRS calls that ordinary. So an example of what's ordinary is you got to look at your industry, right? So that's why it's important to, when you're doing your tax return, put in the right industry. Because for instance, like I have a tax accounting business, CPA firm, whatever the case is, right? We have a friend who owns an ice cream shop, right? And she could write off ice cream cones, spoons, napkins, refrigerators, all those kind of things. If I start writing that stuff up on my tax return, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna get a letter in the mail. You know what I mean? So it needs to be ordinary for your business. So what's ordinary for your business? Just using common sense as it relates to that. Then it needs to be, the next E is essential. The IRS calls that necessary. So what's necessary for you to operate your business? That's utilities, rent, employees, all those things are essential. And then last but not least, economical, meaning that you need to be making it's subjective depending on how much money you're making, right? So one of the deductions that you could take, this allows you to do it, that you could write off a vehicle that weighs over 6,000 pounds, right? The G-Wagon, right? Everyone talks about the G-Wagon. But if your business is only making 50,000, you can't write off a $150,000 vehicle, right? You know what I mean? So, but I got to put that out there because some people are just like, oh, I can write off. It's like, no, you got to be making substantially more than that.
You should quit working for free. How did social media hire all of us to be their workforce? We're on the app posting videos, going live, creating reels. We do not get paid when we create content on social media. They do, by selling our content to advertisers. But how do you actually build an online business using social media? I want to break it down for you and give you access to it. There's 5 simple steps. I'll tell it to you in a few seconds. Step number 1 is client attraction. I'm going to show you how to actually attract clients that will happily pay you what you're offering. Step number 2, how to capture them. How do you get their emails? How do you get their phone numbers? How do you get them to show up to your event? Be on your Zoom calls. To what I refer to as client dating. It's where you nurture a relationship with people to get them to say yes to whatever you're offering. And I'm even going to show you what type of content to create that gives you brand visibility and brand recognition. I call it social media secrets. You get access wherever you're watching this video. You'll see it in the description and you'll see it beneath this. Let's get back to the episode.
So you want to make sure that it's substantially more than that. So someone like 50 Cent, at the end of the year, he was like, yo, I had this big tax bill. Let me just go ahead and buy 5 cars. 50 Cent could do that, right? He has power. He's doing music. He has all this money, right? But for the average person, depending on how much money you make, you may or may not be able to do that. But it's subjective based on how much money you're making based on the revenue. So again, recapping: tax-free, FREE. So for your trade, business, profession, regular for your business, essential, and economical. So those are deductions. So that's a big thing that's going to apply to most entrepreneurs, is take advantage of those.
Do you realize how much game you just gave? No, seriously. Like, so what we're going to do is send y'all an invoice to everybody that's watching. Seriously.